welcome to the stage the fabulous Gaby. Woo!
Good evening. My name is Gaby. I trained as a Catholic monk before I switched to become a resilience and disaster risk reduction advisor. I'm currently looking for an apartment at Berlin. And I love the environmental themed cartoon Captain Planet and the Planeteers.
Woo!
Yeah. Growing up, Captain Planet was my favorite superhero. Anyone familiar with Captain Planet here? Yeah. Remember 5 kids, each with an element ring that they used to collectively summon Captain Planet. They would go, fire, earth, water, wind, heart. That's right, heart. And Captain Planet would emerge to save the day. That was so cool. The original Captain Planet series first aired in 1990, and it ran for 6 years. And sometimes I wonder, why did this series ever stop? I mean, it just seems like Captain Planet disappeared in the time where we need him the most. I don't know, who do we got these days as superheroes to inspire the kids, but also our inner child? Iron Man, an industrialist, flying around, bursting his jet engine, polluting the atmosphere. Install some solar panel on that suit, Mr. Genius inventor. Thor, a god, willing to electrify everything inside. But God forbid he pump some of that energy into the grid and help us reduce our greenhouse gases emission. Black Widow. Don't even get me started. So many leather suits. How many cows had to be sacrificed to produce all of those suits? I don't know. Making leather from pineapple now. Catch up, Black Widow. Yeah. It just seems like all of those heroes, they don't have our common home in mind. And that's a shame. Speaking on home though, I recently moved from Lebanon to Berlin. And let me tell you, it's quite a change. In Lebanon, if you don't manage to find an apartment within a week, your mom's friend's cousin's neighbor will somehow manage to secure you a place. Here in Berlin, let's just say I'm getting really comfortable with my suitcase. And coming all of this distance just to get reconnected with my nomadic ancestors, that was an unexpected twist. My ancestors had to consider greener pastures for their herds when moving around, and my consideration mainly focuses on a reliable Wi-Fi signal. Who knew that finding a stable internet connection would become the modern-day struggle of migration? Weird time. My frustration is so great that sometimes I wish Captain Planet was around and he can finally find a permanent place. Better yet, if he can do so before we all die from the heat or experience the next ice age. As a disaster risk reduction advisor, those 5 elements that are used to summon Captain Planet trigger a very different response nowadays from the time that I was a child. Fire, immediately I go to the hazard of wildfire. Earth, that's a potential landslide zone. Water, that triggers floods. Wind, that triggers hurricanes. But it is the 5th element, heart, that remains persistent and that really keeps you motivating, even in the face of the most difficult disasters. You see, working in bleak circumstances, it is heart that keeps you motivated. It is witnessing people sharing whatever resources they can spare to help one another. It is first responders putting their life at risk to save others. It's even that one colleague who at the office is always willing to voluntarily replenish the will just so they have some good coffee at the office. Heart. It comes in different shapes and forms, but it might be our biggest power. So I ask you tonight to please look into your heart. And for God's sake, someone help me find an apartment. Give me a hand. I can mitigate the risks of disasters, I can mitigate the risk of earthquakes, of floods, but when it comes to the mysterious shufa, I'm like a fish out of water, really. Like, what is it? It seems like it's the Da Vinci Code of apartment hunting. Doesn't shufa seems like a proper name for Captain Planet's biggest nemesis? I will stop you, shufa! Today, it's not all doom and gloom. I mentioned earlier that I used to be a monk. That's right, robes, chanting, whole 9 yards. And what I learned during my time at the monastery is that hope is a powerful thing. It's like a tiny seed that when planted even in the darkest of soils, it can grow up to become a mighty oak tree. And people, we're gonna need a whole forest of hope if we are gonna keep up with the current pace of deforestation. That's insane. People sometimes think that being a monk and working on climate change are complete polar opposites. Hear me out. I only had to do very small changes in order to adapt. For instance, instead of following the Pope on Twitter, I now follow Greta Thunberg. I replaced my Bible with a copy of the Paris Agreement, and instead of preaching the 10 Commandments, I now advocate for the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. I also noticed there's a lot of similarities. So, for instance, climate change is the modern day elephant in the room that no one wants to talk about. Kind of like the original sin, but you know, less guilt, more melting ice caps. And if you think about it, and if we continue in our current ways, I think we really need to check those blueprints for Noah's Ark, you know, just in case we need them. But if we can learn one thing from the monks, is the power of perseverance. So they sit for years meditating in search of enlightenment. And here we are, fighting our way for a sustainable future, one solar panel at a time. That's inspiring. But as a human, we are a resilient bunch. I mean, we survived wars, plagues, Shufa scores. So I guess we can survive also until climate change. I mean, if you think about it, who really needs those polar ice caps? I hear penguins are great at swimming. That's sad, a bit dark, so I apologize. But that's definitely something Iron Man would say, right? So I keep thinking maybe the problem is in our ideals. Like we disregarded a wholesome hero like Captain Planet, who wants to save the planet, help others, protect the environment, and replace him with a bunch of egocentric assholes who themselves are many times the biggest risk to our own existence. You know, it was St. Francis who spoke of all creation as one big family, praising Mother Earth, Brother Moon, Sister Sun, and also Brother Boris. I'm sure it's there somewhere. So building on that, I suggest that going forward, we really change our perception of heroes and our attitude towards the planet. Let's treat it with the love and respect that it deserves. Because in the end, there's no planet B. Thanks for listening, and remember, if you see Captain Planet flying around, please tell him that we could really use his help right now. The planet needs him, the environment needs him, but above all, I really need a place to stay.
And seriously, if anybody has any apartment leads, okay, have you had a good evening? Woo! A magnificent audience. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to this venue, to Comedy Cafe Berlin. Thank you to the nice lady who was If you're curious about sustainable stand-up, we have a website, sustainablestandup.com. And I'd like to invite all of the acts. So we're going to do a group bow. Brilliant. Thank you so much. See you in the bar.
Yeah.